Shawn Michaels, the Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative at WWE, joins us now. Shawn, thanks for doing this, man. This is a pleasure. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Shawn, so you're doing coming out of NXT Battleground on the weekend. You're twerking with Sexy Red. You're doing TikToks. You're doing the chef memes. How much fun are you having in your role right now?
I'm having a great deal of fun. Obviously, some of it is, I think, scarring the youth of the NXT locker room. But, other than that, the social team seems to be having a lot of fun with me. I'm just doing my best to, I don't know, to not do anything too stupid. But my children are already used to being embarrassed by their father, so I may continue that as we get down the road.
I'm sure the young talent, I'm sure it means a lot to them, given what you've meant to the wrestling industry and the role you're playing now with WWE. Have you reflected a lot on where you are and why? Like, why do you think that the developmental side, finding these next level of talents, helping them develop their characters and things like that, why that has been where you've gravitated after your in-ring career?
Well, honestly, it's like everything in my life. I haven't tried or forced a lot of things to happen. I've sort of just gone where I feel like I've found the most joy or enjoyment out of what I do. And again, I told the story before. We came down here on a vacation with the family, from Texas, and going to Disney World and stuff like that, visiting friends. And then I swung by the Performance Center and just the vibe in the building. And I don't know, something that had not been in my heart for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years after I retired just sprung back up again. And it was something that I don't know, I came back, I shared it with my wife, and she looked at me and she said, "Okay, that's the look." She said, "I know what's going on." And she said, "I got to be honest." She said, I didn't think it would take this long. She said, "I was surprised that you were, I don't know, that you walked away so easily." And she said, but she said, "Look, you want to pack up and move to Texas, I'm on board." That's just sort of how to, look, that's the same way I married this woman, the same way I got into this job. I sort of just have looked at stuff and said, that's what makes me happy. And I've gone ahead and given it a shot. And this was the same way. Came in here, in a pair of shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top, said I'd never wear a headset, said I'd never wear a sports coat. And here I am 8 years later wearing headsets and obviously dressed like I am. And clearly, when I talk a bunch of smack, you probably shouldn't listen to me because who knows what the future holds.
At least you still got the hat, though, right? You're putting the Shawn Michaels spin on it still.
Well, I gotta keep the brand alive a little bit.
Well, look, how much fun you guys are having with it really comes off in the product. NXT Battleground this past weekend, watched it on Sportsnet Plus. A lot of fun. I wonder, I know that you guys have been kind of building this momentum generally. I specifically noticed it with the women's division, where you guys have this very deep women's division. You even introduced a second individual women's title with the North American Championship on the weekend. What do you think it is that's clicked so well for that women's division for you guys of late?
Well, I guess, look, from the very beginning, from the recruiting process, I don't know any other way to say it, but just so many stud athletes out there. Gosh, I don't want to create a competition, I guess, or a negative one with the men or anything. But again, it's just amazing. Some of the extremely athletic and talented women that are out there, and how quickly they're adjusting and adapting to learning this, if it's something that they haven't watched a lot or grown up with. And it's one of those things, again, that has, it's a word that gets tossed around, but it's true. It has just happened organically. And clearly our women, as are all women, are on the same level as the men. And it was only fitting that we have a North American men's champion. We should have a North American women's champion. And clearly NXT has the depth of a roster that can sustain that. So for me, it was an easy call. And again, very proud of not just our women's division, but again, of all of our women that come through here in NXT. And like I said, just to the plethora, as they say, of college athletes that are out there, and how quickly they're transitioning into this line of work is nothing short of amazing. So as great of a job as our coaches do and that we do here in NXT. I certainly want to give some credit to the recruiting team and the recruiting process, and clearly the athletes that are coming in here focused and ready to go.
Yeah, it seems to make a lot of sense. Target college athletes who have the athleticism, see who gets the personality going, and wrestling clicks with. So Kalani Jordan won that North American Women's Championship in a ladder match. You guys are coming here in a couple of weeks for Money in the Bank weekend, which will have a couple of ladder matches. Shawn, I know that you have had a lot of influence on the current product from an in-ring perspective. Does the ladder match still kind of hold something special for you, given that you and Razor Ramon way back kind of introduced that to the wrestling world, at least in North America?
Well, obviously, yeah, I'll say this. I don't think, Scott and I, when we went in there that first time, certainly from a pay-per-view standpoint, or even Brett and I, having the very first one, I don't think anybody in that time thought that it would become everything that it's become. I think, look, back then we just went out there trying to have the best match that we could. This was a new concept at the time. Very proud that I feel like, those matches still kind of stand the test of time, being the original ones. But I don't know, like that's something like you even have to ask Brett. I don't know that, it was something that he felt like would all of a sudden become as big as it has become. But clearly, phenomenal concept. And I think, like I said, like with everything with the WWE, they've made it bigger and better and more extravagant than clearly, I think, were the original plans.
So you mentioned Brett there, and obviously everyone knows your history with Montreal and things like that. But you guys are coming here to Toronto again. It's July 5th, 6th, and 7th here at Scotiabank Arena. Do you have any memories from your career? Like, any highlights from wrestling in Toronto or wrestling in Canada that really stand out to you?
Well, again, I got asked this question earlier, and it sounds like it'll probably, I think, to fans sound like a small, insignificant thing, but it was just something that I always enjoyed and was unique. Is that Toronto, again, was the only place that I could remember at that time when I first started going that had the walk all the way to the ring that was level with the ring. When you came out. And I always thought that was a unique and different aspect of Toronto. And for me as a performer, it added an extra element every time we went there that I could sort of work with. And again, so for me, it was about that straight walkway that you guys had going to the ring that was level with the ring, that I always thought was unique. And like I said, something that came in handy if I needed to be, taking some cool bumps somewhere.
Okay, so you guys are coming here. It's NXT Heat Wave. It's part of the Money in the Bank weekend, and the Heat Wave event will be on Sunday, July the 7th. I know we're early. We don't know any of the matches. I know you guys set up some stuff last night, and Cody Rhodes reveals that Trick Williams is the NXT Championship will be determined next week in a Battle Royal. And you guys just had Jordan Grace come in from TNA. Ash by Elegance came back. There have been some hints about maybe a Joe Hendry coming in and things like that. How exciting a time is it for you guys that this is a possibility? You can mix in some Joshis from Stardom. You can look at the TNA roster. Shayna Baszler can do the battle sports stuff at WrestleMania. How much has that opened up for you guys, and how much fun are you having with it?
Well, certainly, you can see that it opens up, numerous possibilities. I will say that I think there's probably more possibilities out there in the minds of other people than we actually are really sort of at this point, possibly having. But again, thrilled about the partnership that we had with and have with TNA. Obviously, looking forward to more of that in the future. But I'll also say at the same time, there's still a lot of things in the process. My focus for right now is obviously on NXT, and obviously coming to Toronto on July 7th for NXT Heat Wave. And again, putting together just a hell of a card for the folks in Canada, because for a lot of our talent here, it'll be their first time coming to Canada. It's a really big, obviously, WWE weekend. They're always jazzed and excited about that. So again, I think it's going to be a fantastic weekend for Toronto. When NXT gets up there, they're going to have a blast going out there and performing for y'all.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. Quick one for you before I let you go here, Shawn. Who is I'd imagine a lot of these young guys are like, and girls are like, oh, it would have been so cool. I would love to work with Shawn Michaels. When you look at your career, whether it's someone now or someone from when you were active in the ring, someone you didn't get to work with that you would have really liked to have worked with if the timing lined up. Is there anyone that stands out like that for you?
Yeah, well, again, there are a lot of people, honestly, that after I left, it's one of those things that you always, you think to yourself, my goodness, if I were 20 years younger, 10 years younger, now 30 years younger, that you see it. And again, all for different reasons. You look at Seth Rollins, again, even a guy like CM Punk, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa are guys that I've, I don't know, because I got to coach them, that, you think about having matches with. Logan Paul's the guy that's, very special. Feel like he'd go out there and, sell my tail off for a guy like Gunter. So for me, yeah, there's obviously a lot of potential out there with people. But again, very, very happy that my time is past and looking forward to helping the folks in the future.
And you've mostly kept yourself off screen in NXT. Is that a conscious decision of just like, don't make the focus on Shawn Michaels, or you just don't want to be on camera anymore?
Yeah, honestly, it's a little both, quite honestly. Look, this is, NXT is about the future. And again, I'm very happy and proud of the career that I got to have, but it is not about me anymore. Certainly want to help where I can. And if from a television standpoint, there's somewhere that I can be helpful in that respect, that's great. But it's mostly about focusing on the future and the talent in NXT.
Well, Shawn, thanks so much for taking the time out. You guys are doing a great job. The product has been a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to Money in the Bank weekend and NXT Heatwave on July 7th.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all having me, and thanks for helping us out on this weekend.
Shawn Michaels, Senior Vice President of Talent Development and Creative at WWE and NXT. Had a million more questions for him, but tight on time there again. That is Money in the Bank weekend. SmackDown on the Friday, July 5th. Money in the Bank on the Saturday, July 6th, and NXT Heatwave on the Sunday, July 7th. All of those are at Scotiabank Arena. Tickets are on sale now, available at Ticketmaster. You can find more information with the hashtag WWE Toronto. As usual, you can tune into Sportsnet to watch WWE programming every week. Monday Night Raw, NXT on Tuesdays, SmackDown on Fridays. You can stream NXT, SmackDown, and Money in the Bank on Sportsnet Plus. You can visit sportsnetplus.ca/WWE for more information about that. What a treat to get to talk to the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.